Hi, everyone. I think we still have some people joining. Make sure we have all of our presenters. Welcome, everyone, to the Central HSA February meeting. This is tonight's meeting is going to focus on the Title I presentation that we'll have in a bit. And I see a few more people still signing in now. All right. We're going to get started. Welcome again. We have, we're going to, just to run through tonight's agenda, we're going to have the CHS update from President Davis, and then the Title I Parental Input meeting, also led by President Davis, and then we'll run through our committee and class updates. So welcome, and President Davis, I will run the slides for your talk.
Thank you. Hold on, Leslie. I just deleted from our, just give me 30 seconds to put one back on slide 5.
While that's happening, I just want to remind everyone to please sign in using the chat. You can add your name, email address, and your students' names. That would be great. And of course, as usual, questions for these presentations can be added to the chat as well.
Okay, great. Google is so cool. You can see things in real time. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Leslie, do you want to click slideshow at the top?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
On the right. Yeah, perfect. All right. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to February. We were just meeting with the executive committee talking about how the year really feels like it's flying by. We are into the 3rd quarter of the school year, and time is really whizzing by. There are a couple hyperlinks that are in this presentation. I'll drop them in the chat once I'm done sharing, and of course, if you have any questions, please just drop it in the chat. So earlier today, to my surprise, I received the information at the same time as everyone else. The school district announced that on Monday we will have a 2-hour delay, hopefully because we are all celebrating our Super Bowl win. That means rather than school starting at 8 o'clock, school will technically start at 10 o'clock. Our doors normally open at 7 a.m., so our doors will open at 9 a.m. The rest of the updates are available on the school district's calendar, but just letting you know that next Friday, there's a 3-hour early dismissal for students. We have no school on Monday the 20th because of President's Day, and we will be halfway through the marking period at the end of February. The 3rd marking period is a quick one. It flies by. If you, excuse me, are not already signed up on Parent Portal, that is really critical in order to receive information about your child's grades, assignments that may be already graded or may be missing and pending, as well as their daily attendance record. A lot of parents rely on their students to log into the portal for them. But if you activate your parent account, you actually get a different level of information. So I will make sure to include that with the parent community so that you all are aware if you're not already signed up. I wanted to start off by giving some updates about school selection. This is a hot topic of conversation in the city of Philadelphia, and absolutely with parents who hope for their children to come to Central High School. We also have current parents who have 8th graders who they hope to be rising 9th graders. I will be on the next slide. I think there is a little bit of information about that. Subject selection is when our 9th 10th and 11th graders prepare to pick their courses, their roster for next year. So Assistant Principal Snyder, who presented at the last home and school meeting, is the administrator who shares this information with students. We did something new where we had virtual Monday morning assemblies. Freshmen and sophomores have already had theirs. Juniors is next Monday. It's been going really, really well. Miss Snyder has been sending out this information. She records it so that parents are also able to understand what information is being shared with their kids. And we really, really hope that at home you are having conversations with your students about what courses they're selecting for next year. It is a process entirely driven by students, but we really want you to be a part of it as well. My second bullet point under school updates, this is Double ASU Showcase Week. Double ASU is our African American Student Union. It is obviously Black History Month, and they've put together an absolutely incredible performance. Every grade level is getting their own showcase, and we have a special one on Friday. There is a ticket cost to it, $5 for Central students, $10 for general admissions. 100% of the proceeds go back to the students and the club. And we really do hope that folks will come out and attend. It's an incredible, incredible showcase. On the topic of showcases, in March, we have a part of Central's tradition that used to be called International Day. And in the last couple of years, it's been rebranded to called Multicultural Week. Yes, it is an entire week. It is March 6th to the 10th, and this is what I was just updating on my slide as we were getting started. If you were not aware, there is a part of Multicultural Week where we have what we call a multicultural cafe. All students, primarily students who take world language courses, are invited to bring a dish to school that represents another culture. It does not have to be their own culture. It can be a culture that they're interested in learning more about and presenting a dish. It's a time on Friday where we share food together, and it's a really, really wonderful event where we encourage family members to come and help volunteer. We always need folks who can help us man tables, give out plates, help the students move through to get food. And I will be sharing a link. That's what I was trying to scramble to do before we started, just that if you're interested in volunteering, to sign up. I have a Google form. It's a general Google form that families can submit. And as we have additional volunteer opportunities throughout the year, I'll add the option to the form. It'll always be the same link. So after I'm done sharing, I will make sure to drop that in the chat if you're interested in supporting us and being a part of Multicultural Week. Last but not least, just an update that next week on Valentine's Day, our senior class is chairing a blood drive in partnership with the Red Cross. There are links if any family members would like to donate blood at Central High School. We schedule it according to your availability. I write and share newsletters that are for families. I send them to students too. They go to all families who have an email address on file. It is not everybody though. So if you are hearing that other parents of your students' friends are not getting the newsletters, know that they're all available on our school website, and I hyperlinked that right there. They're right on the main page under a huge yellow button that says President's Newsletter. Next slide, please. Wonderful. So as I was talking about before, school selection, hot topic in the city of Philadelphia, is well underway. I wanted to take this opportunity to share some public information about how it's looking so far at Central for next year, which would be class 286. As a reminder, Central has the same admissions criteria as Masterman High School. We're the only two high schools in the city who have this admissions criteria. 100% of students who come as in our freshman class are required to have 95% or better attendance. That doesn't include excused absences, right? No one's penalized if they had COVID or were homesick. Students are required to score in at least the 80th percentile on ELA and math and the standardized exam. For most students, that is the PSSA in 8th grade, but for some other students, that is the Terra Nova exam. And last but not least, students are required to have A's and B's in the 4 core courses listed there. So as you can see on the table, we received a lot of applications. Roughly 3,600 students applied for the incoming ninth grade class, but of that number, only 1,252 met the criteria above. Historically, Central has offered 1,000 seats to eligible ninth graders. We did that this year. And we also, as you can see in the next column, have had the opportunity to offer waitlist seats. So students on the wait list would be those who were eligible but were not selected through the school district's lottery as the first 1,000. I am not able to give a student a number on a lottery or change any lottery numbers. It goes in chronological order and they are automatically generated by the School District of Philadelphia. As of earlier this week, Monday, we have 649 accepted members of the 286th class. We are right on track for what historically what happens with school enrollment. As you can see, for 10th and 11th grade, we did receive a number of applications, almost 400 eligible students in total. We offer a much smaller number of seats for what we would call a transfer 10th or 11th grade student. We do not accept transfer students in 12th grade. This year, we had more 10th graders come than we've seen historically in the past, but having roughly 17 more students come is right in line with what we've seen year over year at Central High School. We will have some space, not very much, but some space available. And so I've extended additional waitlist seats to students who are eligible and on our waitlist. One thing that the school district's been more transparent about this year that I'm appreciative of is how the waitlist works. So I, as president, am able to extend seats off the waitlist throughout the entire summer. And if we will not find ourselves in this situation, but if we were for some reason under enrolled in September, I would be able to continue to go back to the waitlist. That hasn't been the case in years past, and I think it is a step in the right direction to leave wait lists open so school leaders are able to offer more seats as they become available. Next slide, please. For our remaining meetings of the home and school for this year, I'm going to share some information just about some school-wide data. This is a chart prepared by the School District of Philadelphia that shows Central's student attendance across the entire school year. The reason that you see the box new in the upper right-hand corner is because this metric, looking at students who attend school 90% or more time on a month-by-month basis, is a new way that the school district is analyzing this data for all schools in the school district. This is in alignment with one of the goals that Dr. Watlington has named as a priority for the school district. I know that the lines are a little bit difficult to distinguish, but the green line is for the 22-23 school year. So this graph shows where we were right up to December. It hasn't been populated yet with January, but we are roughly in between what student attendance looked like in 1920 and 21-22. Of course, we know that the world is very different now than it was in 2019, but the thing that is important to take away from this is that when students are healthy, meaning they are not sick with COVID, flu, RSV, any of those things, they do need to come to school. So as much as you can schedule appointments or obligations either outside of school hours or as close to the beginning or end of the day so students are able to come for an excused late arrival or excused early dismissal, that boosts our attendance. I will say that attendance, sorry, if you're not on mute, if you could mute, that would be helpful. Attendance at school, we find at Central, is one of the strongest predictors of student success. Our students who struggle with grades usually also struggle with their daily attendance. Next slide, please. And last but not least, sorry, was there a question? Okay, I was on mute. Last but not least, this slide shows a grade breakdown, a course marks breakdown for Central High School through the first marking period. At the next home and school meeting, I will have an updated slide that shows you through the second marking period. The graphic on the left shows our 4 core courses. That's not to say that other ones, especially world language, are not important, but they're just not what are counted as core courses by the School District of Philadelphia. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the grade by grade breakdown. If a child is firmly on track, what that means in the School District of Philadelphia is that they're earning all A's and B's on their report card. If they are considered to be at risk, they've earned a grade of C, at least one, just one grade of a C on their entire report card. And off track means that they've earned a D or an F in one course on their report card. So there are definitely some areas of concern surfaced by these graphs, and I work really closely with Central's leadership team and teachers to think about what this means in terms of improving classroom instruction and improving academic experiences at Central High School. Next slide, please. Wonderful. I think I'll pause there for a minute if anyone had questions about that, and then I'm going to go right into some of our Title I updates. I don't think I missed any questions in the chat. Okay, Leslie, I think that there's some animation on this slide. I apologize. Can you click one more time? Beautiful. Okay, so the next section of this presentation is around Title I. So this is really meant to be our mid-year update for our Title I programming. Michael, I see your question in the chat. I'll definitely address it at the end. This is our mid-year update for Title I programming. This is the point of the year where school leaders are beginning to ramp up in terms of budgeting and preparation for the upcoming school year. I do believe everyone's aware because we talk about it in the beginning of the year, but every school in the School District of Philadelphia, Central included, receives federal Title I money. The amount of money changes year over year. It is based on our student enrollment as of October 1st of every year, as well as the percentage of students who the city qualifies as being economically disadvantaged. That is not a statistic that is calculated in-house. So as you can see, our enrollment is, as of October 1st, was 2,365, and that was 17 less students than we saw at that point 1 year prior. And 78% of our student population is considered to be economically disadvantaged, which was 10 percentage points higher than the previous year. That bar graph at the bottom just does a racial breakdown of our student demographics as identified by students for the current class. So that is grades 9 to 12. Next slide, please. So as I said, every school in the School District of Philadelphia receives Title I funding. The amount fluctuates year over year. I will say that it's been the general trend in the past 2 years, not for every school, but many schools, Central included, has seen a gradual increase in our Title I funding. I'm not able to credit that specifically to one thing, but for you to know that this current year, I did not do the budget, President McKenna did, but Central High School received $921,955 in Title I funding. There are requirements. It is closely monitored funding that we are provided, and there are requirements that outline how we are able to spend it. This year, when President McKenna finalized the budget, the decision was made that part of that money was going to be used to fund assistant principals. We fund additional teachers as a part of our faculty. And then there is a required amount of money in every school. It's just over $15,000 at Central that is used for parental involvement. This is the money historically that we've used to purchase our student planners. We did that this year. There's still money remaining. It has not all been spent. But the purpose of the parental involvement funding is to support parental involvement at school. Next slide, please. So each year, one thing that the school district promotes, and I'm sure they spam your inboxes, send you lots of emails about it, is the district-wide survey. I always feel as though we are over-surveyed in the district, but I will say this is a vitally important one. Last year, only 10%, a little bit more than 10% of Central families filled out the survey, 238. That makes it difficult as a school leader to use the information provided in the survey because it's not representative of the majority of the parent community. The survey usually launches in the spring, around March or April. And so I asked, and I know this home and school will partner with me in this, that when it is survey time, we want to just increase as many answers as we can get so that the responses to the questions are valuable and can be used for school-wide planning. I apologize if you can hear my dog in the background. The remainder of this presentation is just to have a conversation with you all, and in my experience, using the chat has been really helpful. Dr. Scott and I are asking these two questions, and we're going to be collecting your answers and reporting this information back to the School District of Philadelphia. So I ask you to keep this rough $900,000 or so in mind, and know that historically we've used it to provide additional staffing at Central. I'd love to ask you, as parents or guardians, from your perspective, what are some additional needs you see or areas of improvement that you can identify at Central High School without getting too specific? But definitely, if it's an area, let's say we're talking about curriculum, let's say we're talking about field trips, additional programming, etc. I would love to collect some ideas in the chat. And if anybody has proposed solutions, things that your children have experienced in other schools that have been really positive that you think would be a benefit if we were to bring it to Central, this is a time to brainstorm together. Dr. Scott, I'd love to invite your voice into the conversation. Is there anything that I missed in my explanation?
No, but there's also funds that we get for parents as well. And sometimes we ask parents, what are some resources that they would like to see at the school for them? It's a small amount of money, but some of it we used for our handbooks that we give out to students, which have our parent information, like it has the handbook and all that, and it has an agenda. But there's always options if you want workshops or things like that, that we can also use funds for as well.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. So again, if anybody has ideas, you can also feel free to direct message them. No idea is a bad idea. I definitely want to echo what Dr. Scott said around workshops. We are able to create and facilitate workshops, but we want them to be workshops that parents want to attend. So ideas around that are really helpful. Esther, I already see your idea in the chat. Thank you. Just to share a little bit around where my head's at as we're beginning to gear up for planning next year, updating some of the resources that we have at Central that are old and outdated is a priority. So thinking about, we've already started an inventory of our curriculum and our textbooks, and making sure that our students have access to the most updated, highest quality resources. We have some textbooks that need to be replaced. So I'm already in the process of allocating money for that to make sure that it can happen next year. I'll give everybody a little bit of think time, and if you have any questions or ideas connected to this, please just drop it in the chat at any point throughout the meeting. And then the last thing that I'll just respond to one of the questions earlier about graduation. Thank you for the question. We have a number of really significant school events coming up in the spring. Graduation, obviously, senior prom, junior prom, and our soft hop. Those are the class level dances and events. Those are more, but those are the biggest ones that people ask about. We are in the final stages, as in this week, the final stages of signing our contract with the venue for graduation. It is scheduled to be signed on Friday. So I hope to be able to publicize that information with 100% confidence as early as next week. So I've been holding off to announce it until it is signed, sealed, and delivered. If there are any other chats, any other questions, you can feel free to either come off mute or drop it in the chat. Otherwise, thank you for your feedback. Leslie, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Honestly, I'm sorry, I interrupt. I didn't get to the mute button quick enough.
No problem.
What about the, do you have any comments or any insight as to what the court decision on school funding yesterday, how it's going to impact the schools?
Sure. I don't have any insight, but my personal opinion is that it's incredible. It's well needed. It's absolutely a long time coming. And my hope as an administrator is that we do see a change in the way that Harrisburg allocates funding to Philadelphia. My gut tells me I think the decision will be appealed. It took many, many years to get to this point. I think it's a marathon, not a sprint, but my hope is that it's a step in the right direction.
Thank you. Unfortunately, my two will be graduated by the time there's a decision.
Yeah. I mean, my personal hope is that Harrisburg funds us in a way that allows us to invest in our facilities in a comprehensive long-term plan that affects, all 220 something schools in Philadelphia, because that is necessary for the kids of our city. And it's not something that's in place right now, but we'll have to see what happens.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, President Davis. If there are no other questions for President Davis or Dr. Scott, you can continue to add them to the chat, but I think we'll keep going through the rest of our presentation.
All right, thanks, Leslie. I just wanted to say thank you. I am going to remain on the meeting, but my camera will be off, but thank you so much.
Thank you. We're going to move on to our treasurer's report. And we have Nina.
Great,
Online.
thanks, Leslie. So just quickly, so this covers 2 months worth, since I wasn't able to be at the HSA meeting last month. But as you can see, started off in December with about 60K in our bank account. We had income of around 10,000 between individual donations made through Giving Tuesday, as well as end of the year contributions that were made to the HSA, plus some spiritware sales. And during that same time frame, we did fund the bystander training that the Safety Coalition had pulled together for all of our students as well as parents. We've also been continuing to work on making the departmental grants and supporting the faculty. And yeah, that's about it. We're just kind of keep on plugging away.
Great, thank you. Next up is fundraising. And Robin Dominic.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. So I did throw spiritware. There's still online ordering available. The Caring for Central silent auction fundraiser, I did throw out an email on the list this morning, this afternoon, I think, seeing if anybody's interested in helping to, would like to volunteer for the Celebrating Central auction. It was a lot of fun last year. I'd love to have some more people to come out and help us put this event together. We need help with all different kinds of things. So whatever you want to do, we're welcome to have you join the committee. I will, just as an FYI, I will be keeping the meetings as a Zoom meeting. That worked very well for us last year. So we'll continue on with that, so it doesn't eat into time of commuting to get to a meeting. So, and so we're still, some of the things we're raising money for are listed here. They're the things that we've been talking about since the beginning of the year. So, we really want to try to meet some of these goals. And then again, Central HSA is a 501c3 organization, so your donations are tax deductible. And there's my email if you want to email me about joining the committee. And I'm anticipating the auction will be in May sometime, like April, late April, early May. But I'm working with the venue to try to get a date set. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Campus Beautification, and our co-chairs, Terry Jack and Anne Marie Thompson. I think both are on.
I am on. Yeah, we hoping to move ahead with getting kids helping out with beautification to fulfill some community service hours. Right now, we would like to get a group together next week on Wednesday. We do need to finalize a faculty presence. So look for a finalized announcement, either confirming that date or the next the approved date to have that first meeting sent out through the HSA Google group and through the school. But we're looking for it's also not just for students, any parents that would be available and wanted to come out and help. We're looking to get an idea of what inventory, kind of the grounds and equipment and see the state of things so that we can plan our projects and what tools and equipment we'll need moving forward. My email's up there, and just want to put out a plug too that any expertise or resources you have, even if you're limited time, would be greatly appreciated. There's rain gardens and grounds and painting and lots of things that we'd like to get accomplished. So any help we can get from our amazing parent group would be appreciated.
Great, thank you. And it's so wonderful that we now have chairs for this committee, and Terry and Anne-Marie are working hard to organize some dates. So stay tuned for those. We'll confirm next week's date via the listserv and Facebook group as soon as we have confirmation. Next up is Anti-Racism Network and Rita Robinson.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Leslie. So one major announcement that we would like to make is that our upcoming meeting, which would have been scheduled for this upcoming Sunday, is of course postponed because it's Super Bowl Sunday. So go Eagles. We are sure everyone will be probably watching the game. We're not far from hearing what's going on, but we do have a proposed new date, and that is shown here, Sunday, February 26th at 4 p.m., in which we will still have our conversation with President Davis. So we ask that you save that date and come join us to have that dialogue and conversation. And we're also looking forward, and we ask everyone to also make note of the next HSA meeting, where we will also be hosting Dr. Stevenson. And so we look forward to that conversation and dialogue and presentation as well. We invite everyone to come out to our next meeting. Again, that is February 26th at 4 p.m. Thank you so much, Leslie.
Thank you, Rita. All right. Next, I think we have Michelle Lopez with us for a Safety First Coalition update. Michelle, are you with us still? If not, I'll just read through the slide. There's a newly published Right to Be book to learn more about bystander intervention training. Here it is. There's a picture of the cover here. I've got your back. The Safety First Coalition is still working on a slogan campaign via their button initiative. And they're currently working with the art department and student clubs to get submissions for art for the button. And that may be extended to involving students via advisories. So students can stay tuned for that and get involved, whether or not they're in arts classes or clubs. A grief workshop is a possibility, and Michelle has listed that here. This may be organized through the administration at Central, but I think that's still in the works. And their next meeting, the Safety First Coalition next meeting, is March 20th. That's Monday, March 20th at 6:30. This is just a list of our committees. And I think you've heard from almost everyone here. So I'll keep going. Next up are our reports from the class representatives. These are the parents who correspond with the class sponsors, faculty at Central to give us updates. And the first is, let's see, I don't know if we have Lisa on the line with us. If not, Esther, I don't know if you want to run through these, or I can.
Sure. Dues can be paid online. You can go to the Central website. If you go to parents, and then there's the section called class dues, and you scroll through there, you will find the link for it. I will also paste it in the chat, but it seems to be any like payments that you do to the school online, they're receiving a lot of the payments through there. So that's also for class dues for 283, and you'll see something further on about 284. I will put in the chat the Google form to sign up for the blood drive, but that link can also be found online. Parents are welcome to attend this blood drive on the 14th, and they will prioritize them for scheduling. The ski trip is February 24th. The total cost is $110. It can be paid in cash or check to room 207, or it can be paid online. I'll make sure to put all of those links in there, and you can see all of the things that are included.
Hi. 283, so we have updates from Mr. Horowitz. The ring ceremony and the ice skating event were very successful. Students had a lot of fun. There's a March Madness basketball tournament winner versus faculty planned for March 17th with a 12:15 p.m. tip-off. I don't know a lot about that, but it sounds fun. Battle of the Classes is going to happen in March and April, and I believe classes compete in different kinds of games and sports and whatever. We're also looking forward to a 5K, which the date yet to be set, but that should also be in March or April. And that was last year. Students who participated in that had a good time. I think it happens like right around the school grounds. And the junior prom is April 28th. We're still waiting for the big location reveal, but I do know that Mr. Horowitz has some, he's definitely working on it and has some ideas that he's pursuing. And then, of course, Mr. Horowitz always wants to remind us that we can buy tickets for Central at the Phillies, which is a really fun thing. And even if you don't want to go, your kids might want to go and go show up with some friends. And it is a lot of fun. They all sit in one section and it's a good time. I don't know the date of that. Wait, let me see if I have, I don't think I have the date of that right
Hey,
here.
President Davis has her hand up here.
This is
Okay.
Kate. I can tell you the date. The date
Oh,
is
good.
Friday, May the 19th.
Oh,
We are
great.
playing the Chicago Cubs, and I am throwing out the first pitch. So
Wow.
That's even more fun.
yeah,
That's exciting.
yeah. The kids don't know that yet, so you can tell them. But yes, that is the big surprise.
Okay.
That's great. Next,
That's great.
next is 284, and we have our new parent rep, Amy Arcaro.
Hi. So can anybody go to that Phillies game, or is it just 283?
No, anybody can go. I'll make sure that we blast the link out. Parents, friends, family members, and the proceeds do benefit Central High School.
Wonderful. So 284, we have our soft hop, which will be held at Lucky Strike, 6:30 to 9:30 on March 31st. So this is the annual event that happens for sophomores every year, $65 per person. And here's the flyer that everybody can read. 284 is voting on their class shirts, maybe a few weeks from now. And the Miss Thornton said that she will be sending out information about the voting maybe 2 weeks from now, but that's coming up. So student dues, I looked that up on the website and it looks like sophomores owe $42. By the time you graduate, you need to pay $250. So this year it's $42. They have everything broken down on the website. If you go in and look under parents class dues, you can find everything broken down and where to pay online. Community service hours. I just want to remind everybody it's 30 hours by May 1st for each class really. But if you want to look up all that information, You can also go to the website under student, and you will find community service hours under there. Everything's on the website. If you have a question, it's extremely helpful. And then I just also, I know I had a lot of anxiety about the subject selection process, but I'm very pleased that Assistant Principal Snyder will be working with the kids during that week. She will be available during February 20th to 27th when the kids are entering their schedule in the student portal. She'll be available during that time at virtual drop-ins during advisory time. And then she'll also have a drop-in sessions in the auditorium on February 15th through the 22nd, before the actual scheduling starts and during. So I found that to relieve a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amy, and welcome. Thanks
you.
for a great update. And I like the spiffy flyer. It's nice art on the slide. We do have a slide, I think, devoted to subject selection coming up.
Great.
With the dates, and I think they're outlined in a couple places here. I think a lot of us have the same concern, so it's nice to see it outlined. I know Debbie is on with us tonight.
I am. If I could
Debbie
get
and dog.
the So I'm working on getting the dog to stop barking. So first of all, Amy, we probably owe dues as freshmen and I don't even know, so you'll help me navigate to wherever that is, and thank you. I apologize for the dog. So 285 were the first class, guest class to go to the AAFU showcase, and I was told that it went really well. I apologize. I'm about to leave and someone came to the door and he's freaking out. We are through the midway point of the year. We're in the third quarter. The freshmen are really adapting. They're happy. They're loving it. It looked from the first slide like maybe not all of them are doing so well yet, but I know they'll all get there. Mr. Brooks and Mr. Burns are beginning the long range planning for end of year for the celebrations that they have, and I will share any details as we get them. And here's all the information on the Central Alumni Affiliates game, except for the Ms. Davis is, President Davis is going to do the first pitch, which is amazing. I'm very excited to hear that. And I know my daughter will be thrilled as well. And I think that's it. And now he stopped barking.
Thank you, Debbie.
Sorry about that. Thanks.
No problem. Here is the subject selection reminder. So the timeline is listed here. This information is all on the website. There's actually, well, I think Amy mentioned, you can find it under the student section or academics. So the dates are also in the calendar, I think most of them. So the information's already been posted. The assemblies are going to be running now through Monday, February 20 to 27. Students select classes via the portal, and Assistant Principal Snyder will host virtual drop-ins during advisory, and she'll also have February 15 to 22nd. She'll host afternoon drop-in sessions in the auditorium. We have 3 more meetings until the end of our school year. And our next one, as Rita pointed out, will be, we'll have a guest speaker from brought to us by the Anti-Racism Network, Dr. Howard Stevenson. Our April meeting will be another Title I meeting with parent feedback. And we'll also be taking HSA board nominations. And our final meeting of the year for parents will have a committee wrap up, and a mental health workshop with a speaker to be announced. So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. If you haven't signed in, please do so before you leave the meeting using the chat. Oh, I'm sorry. We have one more slide. The upcoming dates, I think they are basically dates we've run through in the class updates, but you can see them here. Well, I'll present this slide. We don't have a representative from the Alumni Association with us tonight. But they are leading, they have the Leading the Way Capital campaign currently going on, and the link is here. I will drop it into the chat, but also we can send it out through the listserv. They've got to save the date for the Board of Managers, governing body of the Alumni Association of Central, which will host its annual reception on the evening of June 6th. All are invited. And the Alumni Association Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee is actively fundraising to support a trip in April led by Michelle Thornton to the National Museum of African American History and Culture in DC. And more information will follow on that. And that is the end of our presentation. So thanks everyone for joining us tonight. And we will see you next month.
Hey, Leslie,
Yes.
I just had a quick question. How can parents sign up for the blood drive? Who can I contact? I actually don't see it listed when I went in my blood drive app, and I might need a code, or I'm not sure if it's viewable to the public. Do we know?
I'm
You
just
can contact either Ashley Zesserman
Okay,
or Mike Horowitz.
I can email them.
And they'll have a kid or somebody, a student or someone send you, a link or something that you can sign up.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
thanks everybody. Are there any other questions? I'm sorry, I should have opened it up for that if there are any. I see graduation date questions, and the date will be announced once the location has been confirmed and contracted. So that's coming soon, perhaps as early as next week. The meeting has been recorded and will be made available.
Someone was also asking about minutes to the meetings too.
Yes, and we will get the minutes up on the HSA site. Okay, I think I'm just running through the questions, the chat really quickly. We'll try to get to all the answer all of the questions during our through our parent listserv. Since I know a lot of people have already dropped off. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good night.